All right, Shalom. What's good, Israel? First and foremost, as always, I would like to give all praises, honor, glory, respect, and blessings to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rakaha Kwadash. Salutations to the Lord's elect on the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth and sincerity while patiently waiting for Yahweh Shai's return. And double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, which have taught us everything we know through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. And this is going to be another lesson that I'm going to be doing. I wanted to just tap into the word justice, because a lot of people, they'll hear the word justice, but not actually know what justice is. You know, first off, justice goes back to being just. And a matter of fact, the word just is within the word justice. So a lot of our people in a wicked society, ran by the wicked, are looking for justice for all the evil and the wrong that was done to them. And the one thing that the majority of our people do not understand is that when they were reincarnated into a society where the wicked is in rulership, winning, sinning, and grinning. So when you're born in a wicked society, but you think it's just, when something bad or evil, such as somebody, getting put to death by the police, or, this, that, fourth, or the other, our people's expecting some kind of justice. Not knowing that when we were reincarnated in this society, we were reincarnated here as a punishment for breaking the first covenant. Okay? The Lord said that we will have no might in our hands when you read the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. So what is justice? Justice means being fair, right, and moral. Now, it's the so-called white man fair. Okay? The word fair, right? When you look up the word fair means to give a proper chance to. You're giving somebody a proper chance when you're being fair. Is the self-proclaimed white man, the biblical Edomites, a fair person? Absolutely not. And the proof of that is when you go to Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 4, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. The word fair also means upright. Esau is not an upright person. Okay? He's not an upright person, and he never will be.
What are you doing? Right here. I'm staying in shape.
So, it says it is the system of using laws to judge and punish wrongdoers. Now, in the court system, of these Edomites, do they judge according to the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Holy Scriptures? Well, let's have a look at some of their past deeds in the court system. Okay. A man might have caught his woman getting pounded by another man. So then he puts the woman and the man to death after grabbing his gun out of his second drawer. Okay? So then, after getting caught by the police, being put in handcuffs, being put in a holding cell overnight, then maybe a week later he gets sent to court. Now, in the court system, right, we know that according to the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Holy Scriptures, according to Leviticus, the 20th chapter, if a man commit adultery with his neighbor's wife, both the adulterer and the adulteress is supposed to be put to death. Now, in Esau's court system, is this the case? Does the man who by right, according to Leviticus, the 20th chapter, is he judged according to Leviticus 20? Because according to Leviticus 20, that man should not be sitting in jail for killing his woman and the man that was committing adultery with his woman. According to the Heavenly Father's law, statutes, and commandments, that man is supposed to be walking around free, going about his daily life. He's not supposed to be sitting in jail. But in a self-proclaimed white man's court system, the man who ended the life of his woman and the man that his woman was committing adultery with, okay, the man in the court system, he pretty much gets a life in prison. And then on top of that, the judge will literally accuse him of committing murder. Okay, second degree murder. He murdered two people. So now he's going to be sitting in prison for life without the possibility of parole. When according to the Holy Scriptures, according to the Heavenly Father's laws, statutes, and commandments, he committed a righteous act. So you see, in Esau's court system, he don't judge according to the laws, statutes, and commandments, because the Heavenly Father's laws, statutes, and commandments, when judgment is executed according to the Heavenly Father's laws, statutes, and commandments, that's where you get real justice from. If a man in the Holy Scriptures commits murder, if a man commits murder, how do you judge that according to the Holy Scriptures? That man, his life is supposed to be taken by one of the family members, right? His life is supposed to be ended by one of the family members of the victim that was murdered. Okay? But in Esau's society, if somebody commits murder, they get life in prison, and then eventually they get the death penalty. Nah, man. That dude is supposed to be put to death the moment he's found. If somebody steals, right? How do you judge that according to the Holy Scriptures? The man that is found, he's supposed to restore everything he wrongfully took. Okay? He shall restore it. But in Esau's society, if somebody steals, they're sitting in jail for like 24 to 30 years. That's damn near most of your life, man. You know, by the time you get out of prison, you're old and shit. No woman wants you because you're too old and shit. And you know, like Apostle Gabar said, getting old in this society is a curse. You know, a lot of guys, when they go to prison around like the age of 18. And by the time they get out, they're like 50, 55, 60 years old. Their whole life is fucking gone, man. Just from stealing. And whatever he stole was probably not even worth the time. You got niggas spending 45 years in prison because they got caught with a big ass bag of weed. When weed is really a herb that grows from the ground. But you see, the point is that you niggas are not gonna get justice in this society. Because this society's judicial system is not ran by the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Heavenly Father. It is ran by the penal code. Esau's penal code. That's what they judge you by. They judge you by the penal code. You know, where in the Holy Scriptures do it say if a man is caught, you know, eating weed, which is really a herb. Now, weed is not something you smoke. I agree with that. You're not supposed to smoke, period. You're destroying your temple when you do that. And if any man defile the temple, him shall the Lord destroy, for the temple is holy, which a temple ye are. But now weed is, you know, is a herb that you can eat. You know, it helps numb pain. It's good for the digestive system. But if you're caught with that though, Esau he'll throw you under the jail. So it says, it is the system of using laws. Which laws? The laws according to the Holy Scriptures. Okay? It is the system of using laws to judge and punish wrongdoers. And the Heavenly Father, He tells you what a wrongdoer is. A person who commits adultery is a wrongdoer. Esau does not see adultery as wrongdoing in this society. That's why he promotes it through TV, through shows, through music. Okay? Excuse me. I just got back to the crib, so give me a moment here to get settled in. All right, so Salak, I am back. You know, I just had to get settled into my crib. So again, back to the lesson. You know, as I was saying before, 144, Kahalayallah, Allah Hayanawa, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. As I was saying before, you know, Esau does not punish wrongdoers in this society according to the Heavenly Father's laws. He punished wrongdoers according to his penal code, okay? And he doesn't punish wrongdoers like how they are supposed to be punished. Okay, like fruitcakes, for an example, okay? In the Holy Scriptures, right, it tells you that there shall be no sodomites of the sons of Israel, nor any whores of the daughters of Israel, right? Now we know that a Levite, which are the Haitians, right, if they have a daughter that is a whore, right, we know that according to the law, she is supposed to be burned with fire. But in this society, right, you know, a man who is caught being a FAGGOT, you know, whose lover is another dude, right? In this society, okay, he's protected. There's laws and things in this society set in stone to pretty much defend and protect them. So, for an example, if you harm a FAGGOT, right, you could spend up to 15 years in prison just for hitting him for being a sodomite, you know. Now, we know that according to the law, sodomites are supposed to be put to death. Both him and both the receiver and the giver, they're both are supposed to be deleted. But in this society, they get to walk around, they get to breathe the same air that you're breathing. You got to work with these motherfuckers. You know, here it is, you know, you at work in the back of the house cooking and shit. And you got this nigga talking about, man, my booty is too big for these pants. You over here looking at this nigga from the corner of his eye like, nigga, what? Whoa, what? What? Huh? What? You see? Vexed with the filthy conversations. So you see, man, you're not going to get no real justice in this society, because according to Job 9 verse 24, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, wherein who is he? And we know that the wicked is Esau, who is Edom, according to Genesis 30, the 36th chapter and the 8th verse. Esau is Edom. Okay. And we know that according to Malachi 1 and 4, Edom is the border of wickedness, and the people of whom the Lord have indignation forever. So, because we live in a wicked society, you're not going to get no real justice, okay? Because the soul of these Edomites is not upright in them. So, justice means being fair, right, and moral. Now, the word right is short for righteous. And there's nothing righteous about Esau. And a matter of fact, when you go to the book of Psalms, the 10th chapter, it tells you that the wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after the Heavenly Father. The Heavenly Father is not at all in his thoughts. So these bastards, they're not thinking about the Heavenly Father. They don't care about the Heavenly Father or his ways. Okay? In a matter of fact, when you, what is that? Isaiah 26 verse 10, let favor be shown to the wicked, yet will he not do righteously, in the land of uprightness, which is the land of Israel, which is where the Edomites are at, right? He will deal unjustly. It will not behold the majesty of the Lord. Okay. And what's the majesty of the Lord? His laws, statutes, and commandments. So it says justice means being fair, right, and moral. So how do you be fair, right, and moral? You do it according to the way the Lord said to do it, which can be found through the laws, statutes, and commandments, right? It is the system of using laws to judge and punish wrongdoers. And Esau does not judge and punish wrongdoers according to the Heavenly Father's laws, statutes, and commandments. He judged and punished wrongdoers according to his penal code. Okay? Which is wicked. In which, when you look up the word wicked, it's the complete opposite of being just. You see, it is the complete opposite of being just. The word wicked literally means morally wrong or evil. And that's Esau, man. He's morally wrong and evil. Okay? So he was created to be morally wrong and evil. That's why he don't care about bestiality, pedophilia, incest. He do all them things. You got Edomites who literally got married to horses. How you get married to your own dog? You know, you got Edomites sodomizing their own pets. It says, so you see, and you see, pedophilia, bestiality, all those things are sins unto death. But in this society, in Esau's society, he condones it. It says, and giving people what they deserve. Right, giving people what they deserve, right? So if a family member, for an example, gets shot and killed by the police unjustly, right? He might have had his hands up, he might have been complying, but then he got popped in the back of his head by a police officer and got deleted. That police officer, according to the scriptures, is supposed to be deleted himself, but by the family member of the person that he deleted, because he basically committed murder. But in this society, he gets put on leave, no pay. No, he gets put on paid leave. How you putting somebody on paid leave after they don't commit murder? So Jake is not getting what he deserves after losing a family member by the hands of a police officer, man. It also means a judge in a high court. So the real judge in the high court is who? That's Yahawashai. Yahawashai is the judge in the high court. And guess what? We're going to get our justice, our reparations, when Yahawashai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, okay, Yahawashai, when he returns in what the world calls a UFO, that's when we as a nation of people, starting with the elect of the nation of Israel, are going to get our justice. Because Yahawashai, he's the true judge in the high court. Okay, and he's the one that's judging on our behalf. Okay, that's why the Holy Scriptures speak about therefore wait ye upon me, save the Lord, till the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may pour upon them my indignation. Right? The Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahawashai, is going to judge our cause. Okay? That's where we're going to get our real justice from. We're going to get our real justice from Yahweh Bahasham, Yahawashai. Okay? So the true judge in the high court is Yahawashai. There ain't no real judges in this society, man. Not here on earth. There ain't no real judges in this society because they don't judge according to the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Holy Scriptures. They judge according to their penal codes. You know? So it says core ideas of justice. Let's see. Fairness, right? Treating people in an honest way without bias. That's not in this society. Equality. There's no equality, man. Giving all people the same rights and rules, no matter who they are. Well, if you're an Israelite, which will be a Negro, Latino, or a Native Indian, you're above every other nation upon the face of the earth. And that's according to Deuteronomy, the 7th chapter. The law, using courts and rules to solve problems and punish crimes. And they don't judge according to the Heavenly Father's laws. They don't use the Heavenly Father's laws to solve problems and punish crimes. And really, crime, running a red light is not a crime. Okay? Running a stop sign is not a crime. Jaywalking across the street is not a crime. Okay? The Heavenly Father tells you what crimes are. Adultery is a crime. Stealing is a crime. Robbing people and gang banging, that's a crime. Smoking is a crime. Does Esau punish people for smoking Newports and Black and Miles? Nah, he actually sells them to people. Okay? According to the Holy Scriptures, you're supposed to be punished for smoking. Right, and then right here it says what? A judge. A person who works as an officer in a court of law. And there's no real judges in this society. Okay? If you're not judging according to the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Heavenly Father, you're not a real judge. So I pray and hope that this video has been edifying. With that, I'm going to say shalom is on to the next one.